Hey sports fans, it is Friday, July 7th. The time is 2:12 p.m. and it's about 26 degrees Celsius. And I'm here in the Junction neighborhood, and this is Mavety Street, M-A-V-E-T-Y Street. And this here is Annette Street, and that's a look to the west. And just off to the east here, Annette Street becomes Dupont Street once you go east of Dundas Street West. And for this one, I'll be hopping on the e-scooter here, and I'll be heading north up to Dundas Street West, and I'll make a right there, and I'll head over to the intersection of Dundas and Annette and Dupont, and then I'll make a left on Dupont, and I will ride east across the entire length of Dupont Street. All right, let's get moving here. And away we go. So as mentioned, this is Dundas Street West. And for this stretch, it runs parallel to but north of Bloor Street, although for most of Dundas Street, it runs south of Bloor Street. And this would be the heart of the Junction neighborhood. It's good to see they've got their sidewalk patio set up. And this is the main intersection in the Junction, Keele and Dundas. Dupont Street, where I'm heading, is less than 6 kilometers in length, so I thought I'd start a little bit before that in the Junction. Otherwise, that only would have been about a 20-minute or so ride. And here's where Dundas Street begins to bend south. And if you keep going on Dundas Street West, you'll go by Dundas West Station, and then when you get into Roncesvalles, it'll veer left. And it'll once again become an east-west street. The Junction, much like Leslieville, sort of came to be in its current state from the 2000s onwards. It's really started to gentrify and become a more popular neighborhood. I think this bus might be trying to move over left. And we are back to Annette Street. So on the right is Annette, on the left is Dupont Street, and straight ahead looks like a cop has pulled someone over. I'll just wait in the bike lane here. And when I cross these rail tracks up ahead, I'll be riding through the Junction Triangle neighborhood. And we'll be passing through Junction Wallace Emerson and Dovercourt Village, Christie Pitts, and then Seton Village and the Annex on the north end of Yorkville. From the junction into the Junction Triangle. Called the Junction Triangle because the rail tracks here form a big triangle. There's one more set. We'll cross east of here and then I'll be out of the Junction Triangle, but just to the north are the CP rail tracks, and they run parallel to Dupont for the most part. A big reason why Dupont is a former industrial corridor. Being in close proximity to the rail tracks was a big advantage. A long time ago, I think in the early to mid 1900s. This part of Dupont is quite nice. You'll see it changes character quite a bit as we go through it. This has got kind of a nice retail feel. It's also sporting a bike lane. And you can see some condos starting to sprout up straight ahead. It's really been undergoing a massive redevelopment as of late. I think it's one of the streets that will probably change the most in character over the next few decades. There's Gus Tacos on the left. Every time I walk by there in a stream, someone mentions it. And this is Symington Avenue. There's someone waiting for the bus. I think the bus runs along Dupont between St. George Street, which will be going by much to the east of here. And it carries on through Annette Street and heads down to Jane Station. It's not a very frequent bus. We'll see if we see any on the way. And you can see the new rail corridor being built above the old one. I don't think it's in service yet, but Reese on RM Transit has featured that in his videos many times. And where this development is on the left, there's a Food Basics, but the people that bought into that condo, some of them at least, complained that there was supposed to be a Metro, which is a more upscale version of Food Basics by the same company in that spot, and then they complained that they ended up with a discount grocery store instead. I don't really know if that's worth complaining about. I would consider that an advantage personally. And we are at Lansdowne. So south of here is Lansdowne Station at Bloor. Okay. Burning rubber in your Dodge Caravan. And we have lost the bike lane. So if you are going east-west, south of here is Bloor Street, which has a protected bike lane. And north of here is Davenport, which runs parallel, which also has a bike lane. That one is not protected. Both are probably better options. And coming up on the right, Just at Dufferin and Dupont is where the Galleria is, a shopping mall that's currently being demolished. I think only about half of it remains. It's being turned into a mixed-use community. Here it is on the right. That was a staple of this area for quite a while. I think the rest of this is going to be demolished. There's a TD Bank, a Planet Fitness, and a Rexall. You can see the big cranes going in. And some auto repair shops on the left. It's called Galleria on the Park. There's a CN Tower sighting way off in the distance. There used to be a McDonald's in that parking lot there. And we are at Dufferin Street. So you can see Dupont has kind of a gritty industrial vibe to it, although that's quickly changing. It's now home to a lot of art galleries, restaurants, and even a few quote-unquote trendy boutiques. I don't know if I've ever covered this stretch I'm on in a regular walking video. I've covered more east of here around Dupont Station. And I've live streamed through here before. There's a self-storage building. I wonder, it looks pretty new too, but usually those places occupy areas of lower property value. I wonder if that's bound to be redeveloped at some point. Let's see, a crane off in the distance. And this street is Dover Court Road. That building on the left is an old warehouse property. I believe it's going to be coming down pretty soon. We'll be going by an old Ford Model T factory and showroom, which later became a Planters Peanuts factory up at Christie and Dupont. There's an industrial building coming up on the left at the next intersection that was known for having a number of squatters in it, and I guess self-described starving artist types. There it is, that ugly green building. And I think it even housed some raves and parties and that sort of thing. But that building has been cleared out, as that unit will be redeveloped. And this is Ossington Avenue. So south of here is Ossington Station. There's the 63 Ossington bus. That one goes from Eglinton West Station to Ossington, or rather to Liberty Village. There's more condos going in on the left. There's a lot of mid-rise condos going up along this stretch. And I quite like the design of a lot of them. Unfortunately, they're priced out of the stratosphere, as are most new developments in the city. This is Shaw Street. Here's one coming up on the left. And a Lotus and luxury car dealer on the left there. There's one of the new developments. So I imagine Dupont Street will look a lot like that lined on both sides in a few decades. And that one has a Farm Boy. There used to be a big Sobeys grocery store right here. And that building there on the left is what used to be that Model T factory and showroom. As this is Christie Street. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but way over there, there's even some old Model Ts on the second floor. And we are at Christie. So south of here is Christie Station. That's right at the foot of Koreatown. Where that Popeyes is used to be a Starbucks. Well, there's a Starbucks in the Loblaws across the street. There's a few more of those mid-rise condos coming up on the left. So this is the north end of the Seton Village neighborhood. One thing you can't see in the video is I am constantly checking over my left shoulder here, as I often have to go wide around these parked cars, just make sure no one's coming up behind me. There's a new building. They all seem to have a setback design. And we are at Bathurst Street. There's Vesta Lunch, a popular 24-hour greasy spoon on the left. South of here is Bathurst Station. And this is now the north end of the Annex neighborhood, which runs between here and Avenue Road, which coincidentally is right where Dupont Street ends. I quite like how this building meets the street. The roads aren't very good. I feel like I'm starring in Mad Max right now. Hey, there's Casa Loma. I'm trying to twist the camera enough to see it. Just north of here. Which means we must be at Spadina Road. So it's up here at Spadina Station. And at this intersection is Dupont Station. And I think from the 1800s up until when Line 1 was opened, there were streetcars along Dupont Street. Well, it makes you wonder how busy they were, given how infrequent the bus is along here. I think it comes every 20 minutes or so. This is Pothole City. This is Huron Street, which actually starts just north of here on the other side of the rail tracks. And this is Davenport Road, which I mentioned earlier runs parallel to Dupont Street, but for this stretch it ducks south and curls over to Yonge Street, where it will turn into Church Street. Now Dupont becomes kind of a quieter residential street. Well, there's a few restaurants just before you get to Avenue Road. And there's one on the right, Playa Cabana. It's a Mexican restaurant. I thought they're located further down here on the left, unless that's another location. This is a rather wealthy area, property value-wise. All right, so maybe I'll make a left here at Avenue, and we'll head up to Amsterdam Square, which is at Avenue and there's where I thought Playa Cabana was on the left, which is at Avenue and St. Clair. So we're gonna go climb a big hill now. So I put the scooter in its fastest speed mode just so I can handle this hill. Cars move pretty good along here. So I'm heading north away from downtown. This is Edmond Avenue. Someone's blasting some tunes. Looks like there might be a disabled vehicle up ahead. Or not, probably just a construction worker's vehicle. Don't really want to ride through the sidewalk, but I can walk through it. If you know my channel, it's one of my biggest pet peeves when people ride their bikes and scooters on the sidewalk, at least in built-up areas. It's a little more passable if you're out in Scarborough, where basically the roads are super highways and no one uses the sidewalks anyways, but in a more built-up area, it's a big no-no in my books. And we are at St. Clair. That's Amsterdam Square across the street. Let me get over to the left so right turning vehicles can get through. And straight ahead off in the distance is Upper Canada College. Just check my phone. I have a bunch of notifications from that new Threads application. Meta/Instagram's take on Twitter. I've never been a fan of Twitter, but I'm giving this one a shot. I'm gonna have to disable all those notifications. They're quite annoying. There's a sign that says walk your wheels on the ground. Indeed. And we are at Amsterdam Square, and there's the Korean consulate. Just on the north end of the park. Oh, it's nice and shady. Maybe I'll sit down here for a few minutes. Anywho, there's the scooter. I hope you enjoyed this one, riding from the Junction along all of Dupont Street up to here at Amsterdam Square at Avenue Road and St. Clair West. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below, and if you need a pencil, well, you better get your butt over here before it's gone. And huge thanks to our Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. There's links to those in the description if you wish to support the channel that way. I have an Instagram account and Threads account at Johnny Strides. And there is a super thanks button appearing below the video if you wish to say thanks that way. There we go. Anywho, thank you for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next one. Yoink.